Hello, my kings and queens. Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, we are continuing along with the series where I'm going to each total drama character. In my last video, we talked about Cody and his journey throughout the show. And today, you guys are probably going to lose me on this one. And honestly, I'm sorry, but the level of you probably will not like what I'm gonna say about this character because she is a lot of the fans' favorite. So, in today's video, we're gonna be talking about Courtney and yeah, how do I put this in the most nicely way possible? I said this in my love triangle video, and I am planning to do a part two to that video where I go more in depth with it. But uh yeah, so but I really despise Courtney. If you are a Courtney fan, I sincerely suggest you click off this video and go find another video on her where they agree with you because I don't think you'll agree in this video. But um before we get into today's hot mess, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And comment down below on what you think about Courtney. And also comment down below on the what if last video I actually did an announcement on who the character is gonna be. The character who I was talking about is Flash Sentry. So comment down below on what would you like to see in this. What if well I already finished the notes, so chances are you probably won't get what you want, but I will definitely show you out in the first Queen of What Is video, the first and the second one. So, with that in mind, let's get into today's video and let's get into Courtney's mini introduction. Courtney was a camper on Total Drama Island as a member of the Killer Bass. Although she originally didn't qualify for the first half of the season of Total Drama Action, she debuted as a castmate on the season in Ocean's 8 or 9 due to a successful lawsuit. She was placed on Killer Grips and was the main antagonist for the second half of the season. She competed in Total Drama World Tour as a member of Team Amazon. She was seen with the original contestants on a yacht in the first episode of Total Drama Tragedy Island, and later returned as a camper for Total Drama All Stars, where she was placed on Heroic Hamsters before being moved to the Villainous Vultures. Already, I know this is probably gonna be the longest video in the series. It's probably gonna be 2 hours long, but that's because I have a lot to say on this girl. Um, this was the same girl who almost killed Owen, DJ, Cody, and Tyler. This is the same girl who got Owen kicked out. This is the same girl who got Lashana kicked out. This is the same girl that got Justin kicked out. And this is the same girl who wrote that stinking list about Duncan. And yet she was placed on that heroes team at first. Huh? Huh? Wait, what? What? Excuse me? No, she should have been placed on the villains team off the bat. And I know when I rewrite All Stars, eventually she's going to be placed on the villains team right off the bat. And also, I'm going to say this right here and right now. When I read my fanfics, there's this one specific chapter. This is chapter 7, and Courtney makes a very, very, very insensitive comment about one of the other contestants. So, I made Courtney way more ruder in the original. I mean, she was already kind of mean, but I could have turned that up to, I don't know, 5 million. So, you probably won't like what I do with Courtney. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna stop saying that, but let's get into her appearance. Here's what she looks like. Okay, working on that. So Courtney is a tall female with shoulder length brown hair and black eyes, and she is wearing this cream colored long sleeve polo, and on top of it is this dark gray like cropped tee, I think. I don't know. And she is wearing these light olive green capris that have slits on the sides, and she's wearing black and dark gray wedges. I will say this though, even though I despise Courtney, I actually do really love her character design. And yeah. So like I said before, she is a female. She has brown hair and black eyes, and she actually has two labels in Total Drama Action. Her label was not Action Island. Her label was type A, and then this changed to the Overachiever. And she is in 65 Total Drama episodes and free when she's her teenager self in Total Drama Rama, which means she's in 68 episodes overall. I think Courtney is the first character in the series who's been in that many episodes. Is she? Yeah, I think she is. Okay. So in Total Drama Island 2007, she was placed on the Killer Bass, like I mentioned before, and she was eliminated in the episode Basic Training, and she was 14th place. In Total Drama Action, she didn't qualify for the season at first until she did a lawsuit until she formed a lawsuit against the show for unfair termination. I guess it was unfair, but she really should have sued Harold instead of the producers. Whatever. Um, and she returned, and she was placed on the Killer Grips, and she made the merge. She was eliminated in the episode Top Dog, and she was fourth place. In Total Drama World Tour, she was placed on the most iconic team on this show by far, Team Amazon. She made the merge again. She was eliminated in Chinese Fake Out along with Plainly, and I mentioned this in her video, and she was tied with 6 along with Plainly. In Total Drama All Stars, she was on both teams, the heroic hamsters at first, but then after an incident with Sam, she was placed on the villainous vultures and made them merge yet again. And she was eliminated in probably the most controversial episode because everyone hates this episode except for me, and I'll kind of defend this episode till the day I die. She was eliminated in Sunday, Monday, Sunday, and she was fifth. In her interaction, she broke up with Duncan. She had a one-sided attraction with Justin on his side. This ended. Alejandro, she was attracted to Alejandro, and this ended too. And she also broke up with Scott. In her friends tab, she is friends with Bridget. That's it. And she is enemies with Alejandro, Beth, Blanley, Cameron, Cody, DJ, Duncan, Eva, Ezekiel, Gwen, Harold, Heather, Lashana, Lindsay, Owen, Sadie, Scott, Sierra, Tyler, and it's a short out there. I don't know who made this, but then where they were at Player the Losers in that one episode, and Corey was like, everyone likes me, and then Lindsay's like, well, you still would have gotten kicked out in another episode if Harold got caught, because no one liked you that much. And then Corey said, everyone likes me. I was a CIT, and then the short played this specific part, and it was like friends with Bridget, and then enemies with literally. um, not gonna say anything. I gotta get an ad blocker. There's loads of ads on the Phantom site right now. I gotta get an ad blocker. She has her mother, and she is voiced by Emily Claire Barlow. It is assumed that she had a different voice actress in the first two episodes of Total Drama Island, but this was disproved. So I think Emily just deepened her voice a little for her first two episodes, and then she just pitched her voice up. Okay, time for her personality. As a high achiever and a perfectionist, Courtney has a polarizing personality, but at her core, she thinks of herself as a born leader, which often leads to her not letting others have a chance to take control. Although she is extremely bossy, competitive, critical, and even manipulated at times, she can be civil and polite to her fellow competitors under specific circumstances. And at the beginning of the series, Such examples were in Phobia Factor, where Courtney scolds her team for mocking Tyler's fear, Basic Training, where she stands up for Harold against Duncan and Jeff, and in Jamaica Me Sweat, when she's the only one to acknowledge the injured Izzy and Owen. As an overachiever, she has a tendency to overreact if things go wrong and drives herself crazy in order to get what she wants. She has become notorious among the contestants for constantly reminding them of her constant training experience, resulting in their constant annoyance. You know what CIT stands for? Counselor in Training, and then it also stands for You're Still Not a Counselor, Girl. Chill. I know I mean but however, throughout her four competing seasons, the severity of Courtney's behavior becomes extremely antagonistic. When she wants something, she will fight to the death to get it, with no regard for the safety of others. She has displayed in several instances that she values the prize money over her closest friendship, going as far as risking their lives. Her unscrupulous priorities coupled with her harsh tendencies have resulted in her becoming a very disliked contestant along her fellow competitors, as well as someone that's not truly friendly with anyone besides Bridget. Um, I'm pretty sure if Bridget competed in All Stars, and I kind of want someone to do a what if. I what if Bridget was in All Stars because that would be pretty interesting to see. But pretty sure if Bridget was in All Stars, I feel like she kind of is saying, "Hey, Courtney, what you're doing is kind of mean and disrespectful, and I feel like you should get your act together." And then maybe that will leave Courtney into getting redeemed. Spoiler alert: in my story, Courtney will not get redeemed whatsoever. She's just gonna dig a hole and then just yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. Hi, editing are you here? I wanted to make a quick addendum. I through all the chaos of me talking about Courtney and how much I dislike her, I forgot to tell her. I forgot not her. I forgot to say how much I really like Emily Claire Barlow's portrayal of her. I think Emily really depicts Courtney as this kind of polarized character. Because in season one she was kind of nice, and then it just got worse from there. So. And I also want to say that I think that she had, well, I think her, well, I said this in my video, but I'm pretty sure her and Kristen Fairley, who plays Bridget, I'm pretty sure they were the only two who were classically trained and who wasn't auto-tuned. So I want to say this, that Emily and Kristen Fairley, I think they killed their roles as both Bridget and Courtney, and they also killed in terms of so, yeah, and and honest, and Emily Claire Barlow might have has one of the best voice actor portrayals in this show. She is one of my favorite voice actresses in the show by far, and she also plays Chrissy in 16. And if you want me to do a 16 breakdown, I will gladly do it. But I feel like people disregard All Stars as a season overall because it's full of character derailments and Mal. And honestly, I understand the Mal part, and I kind of understand on the character derailment part. But I feel like Courtney's was probably the one where I like she kind of deserved that. I'm so sorry to all you Courtney stands, but I feel like what Courtney did and what she's done throughout the series. I'm just adjusting my mic. I feel like what she does throughout the series, I definitely feel like she kind of deserved it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's just get into her journey throughout Total Drama Island. At first, Courtney seems quite friendly, greeting and comforting several of the other campers. However, she leaves a bad impression on her team in the first challenge after refusing to jump on the 100-foot cliff into shark infested waters, leaving her devastated. Throughout the challenge, she is plagued by bad luck, getting a splinter from the ruined crate and a swollen eye from a bee sting allergy. Her team's poor performance also leads her to take charge, and her bossy nature only fuels her team's dislike of her. After the team loses, she is considered for elimination for not participating in the cliff dive challenge. Her attempts to promote her valuable leadership skills are mostly in vain. In the end, she narrowly escaped the first elimination by sheer luck as Ezekiel carelessly makes some sexist comments about women, saving her from elimination spots. I'm gonna mention this in my Ezekiel video, but there is a channel, I don't remember what it's called. What's it called? Hold on. I'm going on YouTube real quick because I seriously don't remember what this channel is called. Okay, so the channel is called TD Wonderer, and they have a what if on what if Ezekiel Ezekiel didn't say that comment, and I'm pretty sure Courtney was the first one eliminated on that what if. So I'll link his channel down below. He has some good stuff. And he was actually the one who inspired me to make the Queen of What Ifs channel. So shout out to him. So yeah. I'm pretty sure I'll make What Ifs on Courtney eventually. And what if she got redeemed and some stuff. So so stay tuned for that. Oh my god. From this point on, Courtney mostly takes the leadership role for the Killer Bass, often bringing up her past Assyrian experience as a counselor in training, CIT, for though her team rarely listens due to her bossy and rude nature. Her teammate Bridget is the closest person she has to a friend, though Courtney often berates her for her clumsiness, which almost cost them challenges, including the time that she broke her violin and Not Quite Famous and burned her tent and burned their tent down in the Saki outdoors. She also doesn't seem to support Bridget's apparent crush on Jeff, wondering why Bridget would be interested in a person like him.
So I have a problem with you. So as soon as we find out who you are, trust you will be dealt with. Period.
See, now you see why I don't like Courtney. How can you support? I get why she was kind of nice in Island, whatever, but she has still shown signs in Island of being mean and rude to people and dismissing people. How can you support someone like that? I know this is a character, but if I ever met someone like Courtney in real life, I would despise them to the end and back. Like, come on. Come on. Come on. Mm, mm, mm. Courtney also harbors a great dislike for Harold and doesn't seem to consider him as a strong competitor compared to others, even though he helped win for their team twice.
Child. Anyway, so
Courtney's attitude is also known by the Screaming Gophers, and it soon develops with conflicts into some of them. She immediately clashes with Heather for commenting on her poor leadership, Gwen for accidentally growing cruel at her and not apologizing, and Lindsay for liking her teammate Tyler because she believes that Lindsay is acting as a spy to get information from her team from Tyler. Lindsay is not like that in the slightest. If it was Heather, then I would definitely understood. Lindsay, definitely not. Definitely not. Her most significant interaction is her love-hate relationship with bad boy Duncan. Early on, the two clash on how to lead their team. Despite their arguments, Duncan is shown to take a liking to her, often flirting with her and giving her pet names. Although Courtney claims to have no feelings for her, it is clear that she does have feelings for him. This is first shown in Phobia Factor, where Courtney helps Duncan overcome his fear and hugs him after he succeeds, but pulls away when she realizes what she's doing. Throughout the season, the two often find themselves in challenges together, with Courtney mocking Duncan and pointing out his flaws while he counters by telling her to admit she likes him. Although Courtney views Duncan as a delinquent who loves to cause trouble, she she realizes that he is actually a nice person and who can you trust when she saw him finding a new bunny for DJ after he became grief stricken when Jeff loses the first one. Although Duncan denies his action, Courtney agrees to keep it a city secret, though she ends up telling a few people like Bridget and Lashana. Throughout basics training, Courtney has to scold Duncan for making fun of Harold or angering Chef. Although she claims that she doesn't want the team to be at a disadvantage, Duncan persists that she is actually doing this out of concern, much to their frustration. Once Duncan is sent to the boathouse, Courtney pays him a visit. After after the two talking for some time, Duncan finally convinces Courtney to break some rules, and the two of them steal junk food from Chef's kitchen for themselves and their fellow campers. Soon, Courtney becomes hyperactive from the experience and can't stop laughing. After another private moment with Duncan, Courtney pulls Duncan and kisses him for the first time. This is after she threw up, by the way, from eating too many, what, like ice cream sandwiches or whatever. That's gross. Okay.
Ew.
Unfortunately, their time together is cut short as Courtney is eliminated after their team lost. This shocks everyone, and Courtney demands a recount, but Chris denies it, and he and Chef drag her to the boat of losers. Courtney refuses to to concede defeat and exclaims that she was her team's only hope. As the boat sails off, Courtney and Duncan bid each other goodbye, with Duncan giving her a farewell gift, a wooden goal ah! that he carved. Later, it is revealed that Harold tampered with the vote in order to get back with Duncan for bullying him. So, I want to say a fun fact. I did used to be one of the people who liked Courtney. She was my favorite. Don't get me wrong. She wasn't my favorite, but I still liked her. And this, when I first started watching not Action Island, this was a hard episode for me to rewatch. But looking back, and as I get older, Courtney just seems to get rude and rude and rude and rude. And now I hate her so much. I'm so sorry. Water time. Okay, let's continue on. By hot capture, Courtney has found out about Harold's actions and spends most of the episode hunting him down. She also reveals that she is attempting to sue her show for her elimination for unfair elimination, with the other contestants backing her up as her witnesses. However, no one seems to care about her ranting, and they simply ignore her. Ezekiel and Noah tell her to stop complaining when she knocks the former with her lamppost and throws her drink at the ladder. Lizzie, on the other hand, tells her that she would have been voted off eventually since nobody likes her, shocking Courtney in disbelief. After she finds Harold, Courtney proceeds to beat him up and ends up tying him in the lamppost. She reveals she is supporting Duncan but tries to hide her feelings. However, Izzy points out to her that everyone knows that she's all over him. And Noah even compares her infatuation with Duncan with his dog drooling over a ribeye steak. In the finale, Courtney is among those who roots for Owen, even before he announces the party he's gonna throw if he wins. While the final two are crossing a ravine, she and Duncan argue about Gwen and Owen's current situation, with Courtney worrying about them while Duncan simply states that will raise the show's rating. After a while, the two begin to make out while denying their feelings towards each other. Okay, so if I were to choose a Wicked song for early Duncan and Courtney, like I said with Alejandro and Heather, it'd be What Is This Feeling for sure, you know? That song where Elphaba and Glinda are talking about loathing each other till the day they drop dead. Yeah, sure, if you replace the words of loving, then you get my drift. But whatever. In the special, told told drama island. Courtney is the Courtney is shown to be feeling despondent for losing her lawsuit against the show's producers for wrongful termination. However, after Chris announces the $1 million challenge, her move improves drastically and immediately pulls Duncan into helping her by kissing him. Courtney displays a great change in personality in this episode, being more ruthless and accepts winning the money. Even after Duncan fought an alligator for her in order to retrieve the briefcase, Courtney abandons him when he sprains his ankle and is unable to continue. However, she loses the money to Izzy's group and gives chase until she slams into a large backdrop. To Courtney's surprise, she discovered that they are not really far away from civilization after all. Chris sends an intern to stop her, but Courtney manages to steal an intern's hot air balloon. She soon catches Owen, Tyler, TJ, and Cody, who had the case at the time, on a dangling microphone, demanding the case in exchange for their safety. She threatens that she will let them fall to their deaths if they refuse. I mentioned this in my Cody video. How can you dumb? She doesn't get the $1 million. Courtney is evil. She is evil. Okay, evil. Eventually, all five of them have to jump off the balloon, landing on the diving board with Bridget, Jeff, Katie, and Sadie. As the contestants fight over the briefcase, the plane piloted by Justin crashes into both support beams, sending Courtney and a few others into the pool of green jelly that she failed to enter earlier in the season. Ultimately, Courtney is among those who are not qualified for season 2, which frustrates her greatly. Before the season ends, Courtney makes a final confessional about her plans for the show for scamming her out of the $1 million again. I'm so sorry. She was not scammed. She lost the million. Everyone lost the $1 million fair and square, except the 14 actually tied. They get a chance to compete again. It is not that serious. I would have just moved on. I would never, if I lost the lawsuit, if I was Courtney, if I lost this lawsuit, and if I had a chance to come back, if I didn't get the chance to come back, I would have been like, you know what? I'm just going to move on with my life. She didn't. What? Courtney, let's get through total drama action. Courtney initially does not compete in total drama action, but as seen in the Aftermath 1, Trent's Descent, she is still trying to file another lawsuit over her elimination from Break 6 training. Courtney initially sides with Gwen in the Trent debacle because she thinks Trent is a loser by choice. But after Trent explains his decision with the number 9, she switches to Trent's side. Come the next aftermath, she is under the belief that Gwen is trying to steal Duncan from her, even after Gwen insists that they're just friends. When Jeff shows her an exclusive clip, although Courtney is initially releasing that Duncan's still thinking about her, a later scene in the clip shows the two playfully wrestling and almost kissing, airs her fervor, even though Gwen insists that it was a mistake and Courtney marches off to call her lawyer. What? 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 Courtney ends up winning her lawsuit against the show and debuts in the competition in Ocean's 8 or 9, playing the role as a bank teller. After she rewards the loot to the screaming gaffers, Chris places her on the killer groups as a consolation prize. Pause. So what if Courtney was placed on the screaming gaffers? That team was already OP because they had Harold, Heather, Duncan, and Lashana at this point. I wonder what would have happened if they placed her on the Screaming Gappers. Maybe I'll do a what if on that because I have not seen it. What? Oh, I digress. Even though she immediately takes leadership of their team, none of them get along for due to her bossiness and likewise. She thinks that they're a team of duds. To further solidify her team's dislike of her, they all voted for her despite her immunity. As a result, only Courtney's vote counts and Owen is eliminated. Pause. I mentioned in my Cody video that I did change for Sierra to not be crazy. And she was eliminated actually in the same episode where Lashana was eliminated originally. Because actually, spoiler, in this chapter, in this episode of my story, instead of Heather being the one who slapped the loser too, Sierra actually slaps Courtney, and then that causes Courtney to get her lawyers involved, and yet everyone on Team Amazon still votes for her. And Chris says, "Oh well, we count her vote," and Sierra's kicked out that way. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. During her stay, Courtney takes Justin's role of being the antagonist of the season. While she still is bossy and does not like being in the leadership role, she is more ruthless and mean to the previous season and makes only enemies, partially due to her unfair advantage. Her main advantage is through her PDA, which she uses to keep contact with the outside world and frightening Chris into getting what she wants. Even though she had already earned the hatred of her team with the bosses, the other two quickly grew to dislike her and to see for similar reasons, including Duncan. They still show a mutual attraction to each other because neither are on the same team at any point. Courtney is more focused on the competition than a relationship, sometimes taking advantage of this fact. An example of this is in 1 billion bucks BC, where two seem like they're about to kiss. Courtney knocks him out the pillar by hitting him in the groin with the bone provided in the challenge, which let her team win the first challenge since the Chef Shake Redemption. When they are pitted against each other again in the next episode, Million Dollar Babies, Courtney almost has no issue in defeating Duncan at all in the growing wrestling match. I'm I'm kind of stuttering all over my words a bit because I just finished. I it's 3:44, and my last class of the week ends at 2:45, and I was kept over class because I had a substitute and she kept cutting out in and out of classes because of her internet. So yeah, and I was talking throughout my classes and yeah, and I'm still talking. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the morning if I lose my voice. Despite having very few allies after the merge, which happened shortly after her return, she still performs well in the majority of the challenges and manages to avoid elimination by repealing an immunity. Although most of the contestants had their fair share of issues during the first post-merge challenge, Courtney easily maneuvers through the lasers and gets the reward by doing a flying kick in order to break the class. I'm sorry, but even though I hate Courtney, I will say this: in every challenge, when she wins invincibility in the season, she slays hard. She slays hard. I will say that she does slay hard, but I still don't. I still hate her. When Chris reveals that the first reward will be used in order to escape the building, Courtney refuses to share her reward with other contestants unless they give her something for it, much to the disbelief of others. Although they are all reluctant to do so, they eventually agree to split the million with money with her 50-50. Although this deal is canceled later on when the contestants refuse to make room for her in the tomato soup, which is used to get the stink bombs off unless she undoes the deal. Again, this is another instance where Courtney does not care about the safety of others and she'll trample on anyone to get her way. She's worse than Heather. I'm sorry, she's worse than Heather. Hey, Heather, when she hates someone, she says, "Okay, I hate you." But I don't think she's let other people die in order to get what she's want. At least I don't think. At least I don't remember. But she has never outright say, "Hey, if you don't give me the $1 million, I'll just let you fall to your death." I don't think she's ever done that. I don't think she's ever wanted to kill people in order to get to the million. Courtney has repeatedly disregarded the safety of others in order to get what she wants. And I'm in disbelief on how people like her. I know they kind of disregard the and they say, "Oh, Courtney was so nice in the earlier seasons." Well, she was, but she was still mean to people. Oh my god! Her most noted enemy for most of her return is arguably Lindsay, who she openly dislikes. From the beginning, the two did not get along due to Courtney quickly taking the leadership role from her, and Courtney tends to get very frustrated by her lack of competence. An example of this is after both won a challenge of section in Dial M for merger. She outright says that she doesn't like her and tries to get out of the limousine in order to avoid going to her local cheese factory with her. She still does not get along with her in the following episode and appears quite jealous of her when she performs better than her in the first challenge. Despite this, she manages to win the next part of the challenge in order to receive immunity. Further discussion from that contestant is likely that had she not won the challenge, she would have been voted out by everyone except for Duncan. She begins to become impatient with her at the beginning of the Princess Pride, when both are trying out for the role of princess, but Courtney is the one that ends up getting the role. Because of this, she doesn't have to do most of the challenge, but she manages to win over Justin after she sings. Despite Justin's attracted to her, however, Courtney manages to defeat him in the sword fight at the end. Admitted she was never actually attracted to him at all once he was eliminated. Yeah, so do I need to say anything about that? No. 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 Nope. Okay. Oh my god. Courtney's first post-merge loss comes at the hands of Lindsay and Get a Clue. She becomes impatient over getting rewards during the challenge. She demands a prize after doing more than what was necessary for the challenge. Chris eventually gives her cheese puffs in order to shut her up. During the actual challenge, while most of the contestants begin to panic over Chris's alleged murder, Courtney insists that it's all a setup and tries to get the other contestants to help prove her point. Even after Duncan proves to her that it was in fact a real train, Courtney focuses on stopping the train rather than solving the murder mystery. While she is correct in her conclusion that the murder did actually happen, Lindsay reasons that Courtney was the murderer, which Chris decided was true. Despite this, Courtney's win streak isn't broken for long as she ends up winning invincibility once again in Rock and Roll. Courtney tries very hard in guitar playing challenges, but Chris states she was trying too hard and that Duncan played more like a real rock star would. While in the second challenge, she mistakenly avoids the paparazzi when the goal was to let them get photo shoots, so Lindsay ends up winning. This causes her to go ballistic during the last challenge and completely destroys the set for her hotel room so that when Lindsay's ex instructs that she wants for her last challenge starts, there is nothing left for her to destroy. Due to Lindsay's elimination, where she voted herself off, Courtney tries to get the other female left, Beth, in an alliance with her. While Beth is aware that Courtney is trying to do this, Courtney is also aware that she will have to do anything in order to get into alliance with her. As a result, when the two are forced to cook the 7 deadliest species of fish known to man, Courtney lets Beth use her PDA to call Brady while she did most of the hard work. Something that manages to create an alliance between the two by the end of the episode. I mentioned this in my Beth video too, so watch that. This alliance, however, did make it through to the next episode where Courtney refuses to let her listen to her warning. The going last in the bottom comment would prove to be a bad idea when Beth refuses to forfeit the challenge alongside her once it was filled with bar. After an intense argument, the two end their alliance and Courtney's immunity streak is broken for good. Courtney and Duncan go back to finally being a couple at Top Dog, where Courtney lived right. Bye. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm just kidding. But still, I mentioned this in my love triangle video. And I mentioned how much I hated that. Let me fix this. Thank you. Courtney writes a 32-page letter outlining his faults, something that she is very insistent on Duncan following. No! No! Sorry. No, we do not do that. No! A 32-page letter, really? I talked about this in my love triangle video. I'll link that down below if I could. But still, no! During the challenge, Courtney had a lot of issues dealing with her animal buddy, which was a shark, especially after Owen caused it to go crazy by making it see blood. She continues to fight it during the second challenges, along with a few more sharks that ends up losing her PDA, which is not returned to her until she returns to the film lot 2 days later. Courtney ends up getting voted out that night, not only by Beth, but by but Duncan as well, with her reason being that her popularity was declining and that she didn't want her drag print down along with the with the aforementioned letter. This causes her to terminate their relationship once again. In the exclusive clip, Courtney reveals she will give 50% of the prize money if Duncan wins to the contract she signed. She attempts to call her lawyers, only to find out that they are not available and equally fools her PDA at the window. Courtney, however, is confident that she can go through without her lawyers as she still has documents that holds her entire future. Suddenly, a breeze blows the document out the window, causing Courtney to scream in agony. Like I did with Bridget and Beth, I think I did. Did I? I'm not sure, but I think I definitely did it with Bridget. I will link the action exclusive clips down below, as well as the World Tour and Total Drama All Stars ones, because Courtney was in all three of those seasons. So I'll link those down below. I wish. Did they ever do action exclusive clips? Because that honestly would have been cool, where each contestant goes into after they leave the Dog of Shame. That would have been cool to see when they like talk about, oh, this, and then something happens. So now that would have been cool to see in Total Drama Island, and it's a shame that they didn't do it. Okay. Let's go into the end. Despite her frustration with him, Courtney is still Duncan's biggest supporter in the aftermath of the four, attempting to advocate things such as an unbiased quiz to determine the winner. Due to time constraints, she is unable to ask a question to either of the finalists, but ends up voting for Duncan regardless. Regardless of who wins the season, she ends up getting back together with Duncan. Okay, allergies. Yeah, yeah. I'm warm. I'm warm. Yeah. But coming events of the Celebrity Manhunt told Drama Action Reunion Special, where they're 17 now, they broke up again due to a fight that they had at dinner and a custody fight over a pet raccoon they own. That pet raccoon is named Brittany. Courtney was the one that drove the bus when the cast chases down the Total Drama Dirtbags bus. But when Duncan and Courtney begin to make out after suddenly getting back together again, she loses her focus and drives the bus off a cliff. She is among the contestants that were left behind and eventually stays by Chris, letting her qualify for Total Drama World Tour. In her final confession of the season, she states that her goal is to keep a much closer eye on Gwen and Duncan, feeling suspicious about her feelings towards Duncan.
Okay, let's move on.
I'm not gonna say a word. Da, 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 da. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Courtney is introduced with the rest of the cast in Walk Like an Egyptian Part 1. She and Duncan have gone back together, but is still wary of Duncan and Gwen rather flirtatious relationship. Courtney is thrilled to be able to sing in front of the show's massive viewing audience, unlike her fellow contestants. Pause. I want to say this. I said this in my Bridget video because I'm pretty sure Emily and Kristen Fairley were the only ones who were not auto-tuned throughout the season. And I did say in that video that in terms of ignoring auto-tune completely, I said that my favorites in terms of voice were Alejandro, Bridget, Courtney, Duncan, Cody, Heather, and Gwen. And if I miss anyone, I'll say it. I'll just say it in the link box description. I'll just say that in the description box down below. But I also said this in my Bridget video. People love Courtney's voice, and honestly, I love her voice too because I'm pretty sure Emily Claire Barlow is a jazz singer in real life. Um, but Bridget does tend to get overlooked in terms of her voice, and I'm pretty sure that Emily and Kristen were both classically trained singers. So, yeah. She later prepares to belay for her Duncan so they can complete the pyramid over under challenge. Gwen ends up joining the group much to Courtney's dismay. The girls' constant bickering pushes Duncan to his limit. He quits the show and storms back to the plane to await a ride home. Courtney and Gwen stare at him, mouths agape, but neither actually go after him. Courtney then joins her team with Gwen, Heather, Cody, and Izzy, which they named Team Amazon. In the next episode, she and Heather clash automatically over leadership. They are later on the same page as they engage in taunting Team Chris is really, 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 really hot, while the teams travel to the Nile River. Courtney states her loyalty to Duncan despite his rash decision. However, she does stop to consider Alejandro's being if he even appreciates her. Oh no! Throughout the next few episodes, Courtney continues to lock horns with Heather and Gwen. Her distaste for the former especially intensifies. This is due to Heather's constant bossing around of her teammates in desperation to prove that she is valuable, and love whipping Courtney in anything you can't do, I can do better, and her lack of consideration for the team's reward in Broadway Baby. Courtney makes an agreement to vote with Gwen to vote Heather off for the first time to an elimination ceremony, which they tried but failed. Now with some common ground, the two finally begin to develop a camaraderie. In New Kids on the Block, Courtney leads Cody and Sierra into rolling team Amazon's boat to shore. She and Gwen stop their team's boat after seeing what they think is Duncan, but is only a rock formation. Sierra explains that when they get down for climbing that rock, Courtney thought she saw Duncan because she misses him. Courtney accepts this, but her suspicions of Gwen and Duncan return as she wonders what reason the former had to see him as well. When the Team Amazon finally catch up to everyone else, Heather blames Courtney for the failure. Gwen, however, volunteers to take responsibility for herself, which surprises Courtney. In the next episode, Courtney and Heather are paired up to do the bobsled challenge together. Courtney tells the latter that her lawyers have ensured that she is protected from deadly stunts. In Heather's case, however, she's insured. Before Heather can object, Courtney launches them into the challenge challenge. In IC London, she and Gwen spend the episode getting to know each other and using their shared skill and knowledge to work through the challenge. Ah! Oh my god. There we go. Courtney admits to the confessional that she is indeed growing fond of Gwen. However, she is still timid about having a friendship with her. When Gwen complains about her sunburn, Courtney gives her a remedy made out of bird guano, which helps. You know, bird poop. Later in the episode, Gwen and Courtney arrive at the pump club where they find Duncan and capture him, which causes Team Amazon to win the challenge. Before the elimination ceremony, Courtney scolds Duncan for abandoning her. She then hugs him and clarifies that she isn't mad, she just missed him. We all know what happens after that. Love triangle time. Yeah, no words. No words at all. I do want to say this. In my fanfic, unfortunately, I know a lot of people are fans of Glenn and Courtney's friendship. Unfortunately, though, if I ever rewrite All Stars, I don't think that Gwen and Courtney will make up, though. As in chapter 7, Team Amazon gets into a fight after Sierra slaps Courtney, which causes them to lose. Gwen gets mad at Courtney, and Courtney says that Duncan tried to steal that she tried to steal Duncan away from her, which causes everyone on Team Amazon to just be annoyed because no one cares. Gwen still can't believe that Courtney is still mad over that aftermath clip and says that was months ago and that she should get over it. Courtney says that she still tried to steal him from him, if I remember correctly. I haven't read that chapter in a long time. Gwen says that she did not still not going to wait for her. Courtney still insists this before Gwen says the F word twice to her. It says that she did not. And then in chapter 9, Gwen and Duncan, they had a talk. Duncan wanted Gwen to be his girlfriend, but here we go. Gwen refuses, saying that he is the one, that he is the one who put that thought of combining Trent and Gwen's names together to make the number 9, you know, the whole 9 thing. She blames him for causing the breakup. And well, she does take accountability later on, I think. But she blames Duncan right here, and Duncan tries to kiss Gwen when Courtney sees this, however. In chapter 8, they broke up. Duncan and Gwen, Duncan and Courtney broke up because of Courtney's escalating behavior towards, you know, one of the contestants, a certain contestant. Yeah, she was bullying her. It was feeding around Equestria Girls. I feel like if the Equestria Girls was placed in total drama, I feel like out of the main 7, Sunset would definitely be the punching bag for Courtney, and she's the contestant who gets bullied a lot by Courtney because in chapter 3, Duncan makes this list based on looks, and Courtney is last, and Sunset Shimmer is first, and that's what kind of caused the whole thing. But Gwen and Courtney, however, they have a physical fight in chapter 9, and then they have another physical fight in chapter 15, which actually causes Gwen to get eliminated. So chances are, if I ever rewrite All Stars, Gwen and Courtney will never make up. They will not make up, unfortunately. So well, they already don't make up at the end anyways, but they just hate each other's guts now. In Grace's pieces, Courtney continues her friendly interactions with Gwen, as well as her belief that there is something going on between Gwen and Duncan. Gwen is feeling guilty for having kissed Duncan behind her back, but plays along with Courtney's excited uncomfortably. Courtney shows her a list of things that she has to change about Duncan so she can be perfect. Prior to the tiebreaker challenge, Tyler is forced by Alejandro to admit that he saw Duncan and Gwen kissing. Courtney lashes out at Gwen for betraying her trust. She then orders Cody to throw the challenge so that he can vote Gwen out. Cody's devotion to Gwen makes him do otherwise, and the team wins. Ah! Where is it? Where is it? Okay, right here. Courtney sobs at Heather's attempts at comfort. In the next episode, Courtney has far forgiven Gwen and Duncan for their actions. She breaks up with him, tries flirting with Tyler to make him jealous, and is determined to lose the challenge so Gwen can be eliminated. She leads this episode songs about her portrayal of boyfriend kisser. This song is not in chapter 15, and it is not in chapter 9, where that whole, oh, Gwen kissed my boyfriend or whatever. Instead, she does sing Sierra's song, We My Friends. I will say this, though. I said, I simply do not care about the love triangle. I just don't care about these episodes overall. And I'm sorry. I get people defend Courtney, they hate Gwen, they hate Duncan, whatever. I feel like Courtney should also get some sort of hate. She is the one who made that list, and I feel like that list was mainly the reason why Duncan wanted to cheat on her with Gwen. And then, well, if he really wanted to be with Gwen, then he should have just broken up with Courtney to begin with. Like, broken up with Courtney. Then he could be with Gwen, or whatever. He did not have to cheat, which is my point. Courtney did not deserve to be cheated on, but I do think she should also be held accountable for making that letter. Courtney constantly try. Shoot! I just went to. No! No, I just went. That's where I was supposed to go! Okay, there we go. We are good. Courtney tries. Courtney constantly tries to sabotage her team's progress so that Team Amazon loses and she can have Gwen voted off. Near the end of the challenge, Courtney trips Gwen in order to break the device Gwen is holding with no avail. At the end of the episode, arranged that not only Gwen is safe, but Duncan as well, Courtney tosses Tyler out the plane. She makes her mission to throw the challenge to vote off Gwen through the entirety of Picnic at Hanging Dork. Oh my god. due to the chagrin of Heather. When they finally lose the challenge, the votes are a tie between her and Gwen, which leads them to compete in the tiebreaker, which Courtney won and Gwen lost. Alejandro, shoot! Alejandro begins flirting with Courtney as a part of him and Duncan's plan to turn the girls against each other. Courtney is taken aback by his center interest and becomes smitten with him. In Sweet and Sour, Courtney begins responding to Alejandro's advances and seems to have actually falling for him, as their flirting takes place away from Duncan. Alejandro knows that manipulating Courtney would normally be a lot harder, but her ski and emotions have given him the edge. He then states that he plans to eventually betray her. Later, Courtney tries to unsuccessfully fish an apology from Duncan. Alejandro plots for so they can drive Duncan crazy. She clashes with Heather for that episode as they compete for team leader and because both have an infatuation with Alejandro. Team Amazon takes in her loss and Courtney's teammates decide to unanimously vote her off. But as it's a fake ceremony, Courtney is saved, much to disapproval of her teammates. In the next episode, Niagara Brawls, Courtney and Duncan are at odds again as they are paired for the wedding challenge. The last contestant who I talked about who was actually there during the wedding challenge was Blanley. And I'm actually mentioning this on Lonely Umbrella's channel, on I Lonely Umbrella's channel, on their video of this episode. A comment said that each wedding dress was specifically tailor made to each of the girls. Heather's is intricate, Sierra's is funky, Bailey's is more of the Hollywood stereotype, and Courtney's is basically a white version of her princess dress from The Princess Bride. All these wedding dresses are tailor made to fit each girl, and honestly, I give a lot of credit to the character designers because they certainly knew what they was doing with that, and I realized that when I read that comic. So, yeah. She even considers teaming up with the bear that she originally chose. Duncan purposely directs her off course during the first challenge, leading her to trip and bump into every obstacle. Despite this, Duncan and Courtney easily pass customs after everyone else falls into the water and win immunity. In Chinese Pig Out, Courtney begins annoying Duncan for the most part. During the first part of the challenge, a race around the Great Wall, she ends up owing Alejandro a favor after he insists to win her triangle gets stuck. He later figures out how she can replay her death just before the eating challenge. When she reveals that she has a strong stomach, Alejandro slips Courtney the disgusting food underneath the table until Heather and Duncan inform Chris of the cheating. He forces Courtney to wear a lion dancer's mask to prevent her from getting more. When Chris states that the final vote is between Courtney and Blaney, she is ready for any tiebreaker challenge she throws at her. Due to the budget, Chris simply eliminates her both. In the exclusive clip, Courtney complains about her elimination during her job, but then says that she is happy to get rid of Blaney and be far away from Duncan. Courtney soon realizes that she is too close to the ground and tries to pull her parachute, but it doesn't release, and she crashes into an elderly Chinese woman's roof. Angered, the old woman throws a hammer at Courtney right before the clip ends. Oop. Wait, how did Blaney get into a full body cast? How did Blaney get into a full body cast, and then how did Courtney get off unscathed? Huh? In my opinion, they should both be in a body cast, or at least they both get saved because they both crashed into a roof. How did they survive that? How was Courtney not in a body cast? Whew. In Hawaiian style, along with continuing to express her hatred for Duncan and Gwen, Courtney supports Alejandro to win. She performs in the challenge in order to gain a special advantage for him. She serves against Harold and Blaney and wins her first place, her garland falling around the neck of Alejandro's spirit animal, a jaguar, after she rides out. Alejandro earns a wheelbarrow, which Bridget and Jeff clarify will be useful in the final challenge. In Hawaiian Punch, Alejandro chooses to assist him in the volcano challenge. She and Lindsay help to build his dummy and hinder Hover's helpers, Cody and Harold. At one point, she accidentally traps Alejandro due to any indication of which trap is which. It's by initially In spite of initially glaring at Alejandro for staying Alejandro back down the volcano, Courtney is still cheering for everyone when she wins the rounding. Once the volcano erupts, she follows the cast down the path and into the water where they frame to leak skims with safety, and that's where Courtney's entire journey ends in terms of competition. For now. Let's get into her cameo and told her on Reggie Island. Unlike Bridget and some of the other contestants, I'm pretty sure the next contestant who had a special cameo episode is DJ, and I think he's next. Is DJ next? Hold on. I think DJ's next. Oh my god, DJ is next. He's after Courtney. Okay, so I forgot so much. This DJ is after Courtney in this series. A bitter, battered, brutal Courtney appears on a yacht with the other contestant or with the other veterans. While Alejandro's still in the drama machine, has Heather in his arms. Nearby, she glares angry at them from behind Bridget and Jeff. Time for the hot mess. That is total drama, all stars that everyone hates, and which I will defend. Mm, 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 mm. My grandma's in the background turning on the heaters. Courtney returns to Total Drama All Stars as one of the 7 original campers and picks up her conflict with Gwen and Duncan from the first season. Despite having committed multiple villainous deeds in her previous season, she is still placed on heroic hamsters. However, she shows very little heroic qualities while she's on the team. She quickly starts a conflict with most of her teammates by mostly bossing them around, stealing credit for many of their ideas, and being frustrated with them getting along so well. Oh my god, no! Here we go. She often plans to eliminate her team members, such as Zoe, rather early on, and often threatens them when they are not doing very well in challenge. Saving Private Bleachball eventually becomes her downfall as she stays back with Sam in order to not participate in the challenge. She uses the excuse that since she didn't bring up back any breakfast to him, she make it up by protecting him. In reality, she simply wanted to lay back and let the foot sliders take the leashes. When Jo eventually finds their hiding spot, she uses Sam as a human shield in order to defend herself, making the excuse that anyone do the same. No, they wouldn't. Due to this act of cowardice, Courtney is deemed as unheroic by Chris and is forced to switch teams with Duncan, making Courtney a member of the villain's vultures. I'm sorry, like I said earlier at the beginning, she should have been placed on the villain team right off the bat. Right off the bat. Right off the bat. Ugh. Yeah. I just took it. Due to the team transfer, she attempts to find an ally in Food Fight. She finds Scott to be a potential alliance member and learns that Gwen actually does want to be friends with her again, despite Courtney's belief that she was faking it. Due to odd times in earlier episodes where Gwen would accidentally injure Courtney. Despite the knowledge of Gwen's true intentions, she still despises her, making a deal with Heather to vote her off if they lose the challenge. Things only seem to get worse in Moon Madness, in which Courtney seems to have no qualms if Gwen dies, barely showing any appreciation when she saves her from being attacked by a deer. How can you support her? This is a multiple recurrence where Courtney doesn't care if people die as long as she can get to the $1,000,000. And yet people still like her. She's still people's favorite character. What? I feel like I'm seen to be part of the very low people who seems to despise Courtney. And honestly, I don't like her. I hate her. I said this multiple times. I hate her. Oh my god. Once Gwen tells Courtney that she broken up with Duncan, Courtney accepts her apology and they manage to get along again. However, in Sucker's Punch, Chris rigs the challenge to have her and Gwen fight each other. Although both girls have initially refused to fight each other, Chris motivates Duncan by shows videos of Gwen and Duncan kissing from Sarah's blog, leading her to angrily attack Gwen. By the end of the match, it appears that the two have vented out all their anger, causing their friendship to officially be renewed and letting their team win the challenge. The two willingly pair up, and you gotta be kidding me, despite Chris saying that only one person can win immediately for it. Acting unusually friendly towards each other, and it promises to take each other to the finale, much to Duncan's dismay. I hate this. And I defend All Stars alive. Don't get me wrong. I actually think All Stars is pretty decent in my opinion. But still, this is one of the times where I just hate it. Gwen does not need to be apologized to. Gwen does not have to be Courtney's friend. In my opinion, in my arrogant opinion, at the beginning of the season, Gwen just said, you know what? This is your fault. Duncan cheated on you with me because you were controlling him. Me, however, I like him for who he is, and honestly, I owe you nothing. I owe you nothing. I don't owe you an apology. I owe you nothing. And then that should have been the end of everything. But instead, we get this, oh my god, you're so amazing, you're so amazing, you're so amazing, this glazing, and I'm like, Courtney does not deserve this. Oh my god. Even though things started a bit rocky before getting better, picks with Scott start off much smoother. Despite Courtney not seeing anything in him initially past the alliance, both of them quickly develop feelings towards each other, with Scott shows attraction towards her bossiness. This ordeal happens rather quickly, as the two are already shown to have a mutual attraction towards each other, starting at the very episode that they meet. While Scott is exiled to Bodhi Island for the night, Courtney is seen saddened by his absence. She is concerned about his well-being and relieves himself of worry when he arrives on Skate. The two work together, and no one expects the span's opposition. Then they eventually share a kiss, and Zeke shall find a certain official relationship, but it does not last very long due to Mai's totally interference. As she persuades Cameron to kiss Courtney. Even though this was all set up by the two with no intentions for Courtney, Scott is under the impression that the opposite had happened. This results in their breakup a mere 2 hours after agreeing to a relationship. They continue to quarrel even after they're captured by Ezekiel. After seeing Scott heartbroken over recent events, Courtney demands that they get back together in the opposite kill course, to which he agrees. While Scott gets quite a bit of help from Courtney during the challenge, she still constantly ridicules him whenever he needs help or messes up. As for the kiss with Gwen, as for the kiss with Cameron, Courtney accidentally tells Gwen herself whilst warning Zoe not to do so. This upsets her due to hypocrisy on Courtney's part, but still doesn't seem to hold too much regret against her for it. Courtney still promises to take Gwen to the finale, but in actuality, she plans to eliminate her, Zoe, and Mike and bring Scott instead. This is not due to her feelings for him, but she thinks that he will eventually win the challenge for her, securing Courtney's victory for the season. She outlines this plan on a chart for her own convenience. However, Courtney was apparently rather careless with it because Mal exposes this chart to Gwen, Zoe, and Scott in Sunday Money Sunday, causing her to turn against her for good, which was at the beginning and the end. While she gives almost no sympathy to Scott whatsoever during the challenge, she still tries to rekindle her friendship with Gwen, who only wants to do so if Courtney decides to vote herself off. She is behind for a large portion of the challenge, but she managed to cross the finish line first, under the impression that the interns would be hungry enough to eat her Sunday, which had been covered in burnt chocolate and burned vomit. Chris then changes to the rules having to be the first one to eat her on Sunday, which she fails to do. She ends up being eliminated that night in a free to do vote, but whether she listens to Gwen's request and vote herself is unknown. In the exclusive clip, Courtney ends up in the Amazon at a sea close to a beach and is surrounded by two sharks. She tries to offer her Sunday to them, but they are disgusted by such and vomit on her, causing her to cry. In the final reckoning, Courtney is seen assign one of the balloons, though she floats without others before the Nets can get her down. However, it is revealed that they all escaped unharmed. And that's basically the end of Courtney in terms of total drama goes. And I'm gonna give. Honestly, Courtney deserved it. She had it coming in Saturday, Monday, Sunday. I know a lot of people hated that episode. I know a lot of people said it was the worst episode of total drama. Action, no, All Stars. But honestly, she had it coming, and I'm pretty sure who was it? Terry McGurran. I'm pretty sure Terry McGurran has stated that because of her actions in Saturday, Monday, Sunday, if Courtney ever appears in another Total Drama season, she will not make it to the final 2 or 3 due to her actions in Saturday, Monday, Sunday. I will admit though, she does deserve to be redeemed, but I still think she had it coming. Okay? Okay. Time for her cameos in Total Drama Rama and her cameo in Total Drama Island 2024. The older version of Courtney makes a cameo appearance in Sharing is Karen in the imaginary spot when her younger self explains to sell her word tour in the future. Courtney's teenage self appears again in A Whole Lot of Trouble along with Cody, Izzy, and Lightning after the children enter a portal. Her teenage self also appears in Duncan's dream in a very special that's quite special where she sits on her chair in the honorable graduation. And then her cameo in Total Island 2024. Courtney appears on a picture on one of the obstacles for the pinball challenge in Holland and Berlin. Upon recognizing her and Duncan, Priya recalls them as a season one power couple and wonders why things didn't work out with them, between them in the end. And then we got her audition tape. I want to say this though. Courtney was one of 4 people who were not planned to appear in Camp TV. So she doesn't have a Camp TV pro type design at all. But let's get her audition tape. Like I did with the other Generation 1 contestants who were actually in Troll Drama Island, I will link her audition tape down below. In her audition tape, Courtney tells the camera that she is running for student council president. The tape then cuts to her saying that she is selected to compete in Troll Drama Island. She promises to conduct herself with honor and integrity. However, she accidentally mixes out her 2 speeches just by also promising to donate 2 new pop machines for the cafeteria at her school. She curses and argues with the cameraman, who is named Tom, when he refuses to take a redo. Even though Cartoon Network completely edited out Courtney's cursing on the TV, they showed the unedited version of her audition on Courtney on her Cartoon Network's website. So, and like the others, there is trivia of her, but I'm not going to read them today. So, time for my thoughts on Courtney, and I actually forgot to mention this in Cody's video about what he would be doing after the show, so I'm going to play him and Courtney here. So I'm pretty sure Cody would just not live an extreme life. He probably would get a good job, and he would he's probably still being stalked by Sierra, but I would assume that he's just leading a good life, and he's just having the time of his life. And I would also assume that either he gets a good job or the Drama Brothers are still together. And Courtney, I would assume that she either becomes Prime Minister of Canada or she becomes a lawyer. And as for her and Duncan, so I would assume that after Priya says, I don't know why things didn't work out between the two of them, I would assume that Courtney looks back on her teenage self and is like, maybe I made that big a mistake. And then she fixes everything with the people she wronged, apologizing to them. Also apologizes to Gwen, and then they become friends again. And she would also apologize to Duncan, saying that, "Hey, I kind of understand why you cheated on me back when we were younger. I was just a terrible person to you, and I just apologize." As if they would get back together, I honestly don't know. So maybe, maybe, but I do think that she would have eventually apologize to the people she hurt, and maybe they would all forgive her because I'm pretty sure at least most of them. I think a few people like Alejandro, Heather, and Scott. I'm pretty sure they would be like, okay, but we're still not gonna be friends with you after what happened. And then she's like, okay, fine. But with the others, though, I would assume that she made amends with them, and I would assume that they are still in contact with each other. And that's where Courtney's journey ends. So, time for my thoughts on Courtney. I said this throughout the video. I despise her. And I feel like what happens to Sunny Money Sunday, I feel like she had it coming after a while. And if I would have to rank her, unfortunately, she would be dead last. She is my least favorite Total Drama contestant in Gen 1. I'm so sorry, which means that the person who is still the highest in terms of ranking so far is still Bridget. So we will see who's gonna dethrone her, but so far it's not looking too good. So, in the next video, we are going to be talking about DJ, and I'm excited for that. So, today we are going, and that's basically the end of today's video. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and comment down below on what you think about Courtney, and also comment down below on what would you like to see on the first Queen of White's video talking about Flash Sentry. And with that in mind, I will see you all in the next one. Bye, my kings and queens.